First again, class, good morning. And for this session, we'll be continuing our discussion last time. So, nung last time, we have discussed lesson 1 and lesson 2. Okay, so about Adobe Illustrator ulit pa rin tayo. So, this is our unit 2 sa module natin. And last time, we have discussed lesson 1, everything about what Illustrator is all about, what are the examples that we have discussed, tapos the general workspace overview, everything, and also we have compare Illustrator sa Photoshop. Since they are both from Adobe, we have seen more similarities of them, and then the main differences, especially yung working with Artboard and Canvas, working with fill and stroke katulad nung sa Adobe Animate, ganun din yung idea, and what can layers and grouping benefits of layers and groupings, ano yung mga benefits nila for working with them, tapos yung working with isolation mode, of course, yung mga useful shortcuts na binabanggit natin before. Okay, so these are all useful shortcuts na mostly ginagamit natin based from experience, mga easy to use shortcuts na makakatulong once you're working with your artwork. And we have discussed yung mga basic actions, mga general actions na anything na gawin mo sa Illustrator, you'll be doing these actions, right? From creating up to exporting our assets. And lesson 2, of course, how can we use yung mga different tools, and nag-example din tayo nung last time as a recap, kung naalala nyo pa nung last time, right? So we've discussed how can we create such output like this. So nag-create tayo ng vector artwork natin. So from this example, we have created such artwork. So yun yung last meeting natin. And for this lesson, we'll be talking about lesson 3 and lesson 4. Dun sa lesson 1 and 2 kasi natin, what we have just done is yung mga generic actions, tsaka yung how can we create output based from basic shapes lang, diba? So this time, we'll be talking about sa lesson 3, how can we make complex shapes or paths or vector shapes to create different complex artworks na. So hindi katulad ng last time, medyo beginner, medyo basic style. So this time, we can now proceed sa mga more complex parts, complex shapes. When I say complex, it doesn't mean hard, okay? It just means na level up lang doon sa dati. So kayang-kaya siyang gawin, napakadali lang. And also tatapusin natin si Unit 2 with Lesson 4, working with type and different topics like recoloring artwork. And then na-summarize ko yun, sinamarize ko yung mga outline ng topics natin for 3 and 4. So I'll be discussing yung topics natin based from this outline. So para mas madali nating mag-get yung pagkakasunod-sunod ng topics. And for the examples then, nagagawin natin. So aside from this, since we will be talking about complex shapes, like for example this time, how can we create something like this na from this text, nagawa natin siya lagyan ng mga extra features like this na pwede natin gamitan ng different strokes and styles. Tapos, how can we work with gradient colors, like for example, in this example na meron ako, right? So, ginamitan ko siya ng gradient background like this, as you can see. So, this is just like a gradient background from this shape. So from that, nag-add tayo ng background color like that. We'll be talking about gradient in different way, and then of course multiple artboards. Paano natin i-duplicate yung mga artboards that we are working around. Of course, we'll be discussing then yung mga recoloring artwork. Like dito sa example ko, I have this original color, and then kaya ko siyang i-recolor with such like this. Kaya ko siyang gawing grayscale. So yung katulad ng example ko sa inyo before, so I have created this vector na pwede nyo rin gawin, no? Also, when it comes to industry, like if you're working with graphic designing, pwede kayo mag-create ng, for example, meron kayong clients, tapos magpapakreate siya ng logo sa inyo, and then if your client will ask for different options ng mga logo or styles, so you can work around with artboards, yung multiple artboards. So yung katulad sinasabi natin before, yung mga white areas na to, these are all artboards. Like as you can see here, I have different artboards, and then as you can see, I have different options then for this logo. Pwede natin itong i-save as PDF, and for how many artboards you have, your PDF will treat them as pages. So kung ilan yung artboard mo, ganun din number ng pages na meron ka. Hindi lang about sa graphic designing or logo, no? Since yung track ninyo is web and mobile, pwede nating gawin na like kung meron kayong SAD right now, or maybe software engineering something, if you are proposing something like a mock-up for your web designs or mobile applications, you can create such mock-up here. Katulad ng pinakita ko sa inyo before, you can create new file with definite size from here. As you can see, pwedeng, let's say, magpe-present kayo ng mock-up sa teacher nyo na, sir, ito po yung design para sa first page niya, main page niya, ito po yung design sa second page, third page. So you can create such like that based from this template size, katulad na ating discussion natin. Or if you want to present sa web design naman, na ito po yung mock-up ng website na gagawin namin, ito po yung landing page niya, ito yung sa footer, yung header, hero images, different pages na meron po kami, yan. So may mga definite size na dyan. So pwede yung gawin din dito. You can populate your artboards, you can just easily present your work, no, din sa teacher ninyo, na meron kasi kayong mga nakapresent na different artboards like this. So ito yung parang finished version. Also, meron tayong di-discuss later on na how can we do something like this na from this example, from this original artwork natin, how can we change yung color niya without starting from the scratch, na i-apply yung features ni Illustrator na recoloring artwork based from here, or working with swatches and colors, diba? And if you combine all of that, pwede nating makreate din yung mga ganitong example output. So like what I did before, sabi ko nga, we'll be working with making complex shapes. So kung gagawa kayo ng mga icons like this, ayan, or logo, pwede nyong gawin yan. Ito, may gradient color pa siya. And another examples na pwede nating magawa din, we'll be discussing about how can we create katulad nito. And kung alala nyo pa yung last time na mga examples, no, yung mga ideas sa Illustrator, yung iba nagve-vector daw sila. So we'll be discussing how can we vectorize such images. So from for example, from this original image, like dito, o kaya from this original image na meron ako dyan, so how can we make a vector image out of that like this? So ito 100% naka-vector siya, where diniscuss natin before, yung advantage pag vector yung image is you can scale your image in any size you want without reducing any quality. Okay, of course it depends on how your vector image display, depende sa purpose mo. Or kung naalala nyo pa yung kanina, yung pinakita kong original image, so pwede natin siyang gawin like this as vector, and then we can easily recolor yung natin, vector graphic. Tapos pakita ko din sa inyo like how can we apply these kinds of strokes. As you can see here, kahit wala kayong graphics tablet, you can apply the effect ng pen pressure, not actually the pen pressure but yung profile ng mga strokes natin from here. And like what I've done before, so meron kaming client dati, like from Netflix, nagpa-create ng mga different logos, different project, and kasama doon is yung 2D character. So here, pwede nating i-create yung from this original image into a 2D vector. So from my experience, I have sketch like this. Sa paper lang, kahit wala kayong scanner, okay lang. So, nag-take ako ng picture like that from there. Tapos, yung output natin is, so from this example into this sketch up to this output. And we can also apply yung multiple artboards if gusto naman ng client nyo na that have different backgrounds like that. So we'll be discussing all of these, yung concepts nito, and how basically nag-start, paano na-create yung mga ganyan, and then you can further enhance your skills pag kayo na yung gumawa. Of course, by applying yung mga techniques and topics na i-discuss natin. Also, this meeting is recorded and I'll be sending you yung recording natin katulad ng ginagawa natin before. So, again, let's start with our discussion, starting making complex shapes for lesson 3 and lesson 4. Okay. Now, before I proceed with this, pakita ko lang sa inyo dun sa mga gustong i-check yung module na sinad natin na before. Yung pagkakasunod-sunod ng topic sa module natin is the same lang din. There are just such na mga descriptions na pwede nyo, of course, basahin for additional information, additional examples. Yung module part natin dito is easy to understand din, no? Of course, katulad dati na meron tayong mga screenshot, meron tayong mga step-by-step instructions, and so on. I guess we can start now dun sa first part with expanding shapes and appearance. Okay. Now, so in order to make complex shapes class, it is very important for us to know how can we expand such shapes, fills, and strokes. Okay. And applicable din to sa mga text natin. So, pakita ko sa inyo sa module, simply, just have to follow these steps. Gagamitin lang natin yung object and then expand. Of course, magagawa mo lang yan pag meron kang selected object. And as for the example output, as you can see here, meron tayong stroke and pwede siyang ma-convert into fill. So basically, the idea ng expanding shapes or strokes is kino-convert mo siya from stroke to fill. Bakit kailangan i-convert? Kailangan mo siya i-convert kasi there are multiple features and options na hindi mo magagawa kapag hindi siya fill. Okay, kapag hindi siya vector, fill, or shape. So you need to convert that these strokes. And to show you an example, let me create a new file. So like what we have discussed before, again, so new document screen natin, pwede kayong pumili ng size na gusto nyo. Like what I usually do, I click any of this template size, width and height, pixels. Kung sa screen, recap lang natin sa screen. Of course, RGB lagi sinaselect natin. Pag printed, we are using CMYK. And landscape, okay na yan. Let's create. So, okay, how can we expand such shapes or lines? Or ano ba yung mga pwede nating i-expand? Okay, una is yung mga different shapes here or may mga tools na ginagamitan natin or ginagamit natin that represents strokes. Okay, so una, example from here is I can have this line segment tool, for example. So si line segment tool, you can just click this, tapos set the properties from here. Just set yung fill color into none by clicking this, and then from here yung color ng stroke natin ni line, tapos pwede mong i-adjust yung width. Then you can start doing like this yung line na to. You can also create shape, like for example rectangle. So papakita ko sa inyo class ano ba yung mga pwede nating i-convert into fill. So sa shape naman, rectangle tool, gaya ng discussion natin before, pwede ka mag-create ng rectangle, adjust yung size from here, and then wala siyang fill color, right? So I can create a perfect square by holding shift, or just click and drag like that. So lahat to class, mga pinapakita ko sa inyo, lahat to mga possible na pwedeng i-convert into fill color. Ano pa, I can also have pen tool. So I hope may mga nakapag-try na ng pen tool dito. Same lang sa Photoshop, right? So sa pen tool, you can create anything like that, or using also the brush tool. Si paintbrush tool class, gaya ng mga pinakita kong tools ngayon, it is being represented by stroke din. So using my brush, I can create such different artwork na gusto natin. So halimbawa, pwede tayo mag-drawing like drag ko lang ito dito. So using my paintbrush, you can create like that. And so yung mga iba naman dyan na let's say hilig nila mag-drawing, so using Illustrator, you can do something like this, like that. So from here, lahat to class, what I want you to know is lahat ng to, they are being represented sa stroke. As you can see, when I select them sa tools panel natin, you can see na again, yung property nila is sa stroke siya. So now, all of this can be expanded into fill. So in order to further modify them. So paano to i-expand into fill shape? So what you're just going to do is just to select your stroke like this or shape. Click mo lang siya. Tapos punta ka sa object, and then you can just click expand appearance. Okay, so when you do this expand appearance, sometimes you have to do it twice depende sa ginagawa mong artwork. Just to be sure, we'll be doing object ulit tapos click expand. Class, in general rule sa pag-i-expand, kahit alin ditong available, same lang din naman yung output na pwede natin magawa. There are just cases na yung mga strokes para silang naka double grouping, something like that. So you can click expand ulit, may mag-a-appear na dialog box, you can just click OK. And from there, using my direct selection tool, gaya ng discussion natin before, it can select, directly select yung mga path. So I can double click yung mga anchor points like that. I can just drag it, something like that. As you can see here also, while it's still being selected, hindi na siya treated ni Illustrator as stroke, diba? So hindi na daw siya stroke, but rather fill na daw siya, fill color. So in that case, nakita natin na na-expand yung line into this shape. Okay. Also class, nasaan? I believe nandito si Ma'am Raquel. I'm not sure if until now nandito siya. And so we can just greet her. Good morning, everyone. Okay. So, alright. Let's continue. So from here, then we have this different shapes or different strokes. We can just click object and then expand. Click OK, and then again. So for this effect, you can see na pwede nating i-drag like that. Yung mga options natin na to. Yan, so to create such shapes, lahat to, again, fill na sila. Okay? And from here naman, yung mga stroke natin like this or line, class, before nyo sila i-expand, I'll show you a technique kung paano i-apply yung different profile na pwede natin ma-apply sa mga lines na to or stroke. So let me do this first before ko siya expand. So pwede kong i-select yung stroke na to or yung line na to. And then class, dito sa ating option bar, you'll see that on this part, I have different width profile. So kahit wala kayong graphics tablet pero gusto nyo mag-create ng mga line artwork or mga outline artworks na gusto nyo, yung mga edges is nag-adjust yung thickness nila sa mga points nila, etc. So you can click anywhere from here. Basta ang gagawin mo lang is to gagawin mo lang is to select this, punta ka sa with profile, and then just click any of this example. As you can see, from this example, yung gawa natin, pointed na yung mga edges niya, like that. And also, if I can do that sa pen tool, after doing that, I can just simply select this. Pwede kong i-adjust pa rin yung size na gusto ko, like that. From there, and then I can just object expand. Expand nyo lang class kapag final na. Okay? Kapag yung tipong di mo napapalitan yung stroke appearance niya, doon nyo pa lang siya dapat i-expand. Kasi when you expand it already, di mo na ito mababalik into stroke. Okay? So I would suggest you can create a backup, di ba? So bago nyo gawin yan, pwede ka mag-copy paste muna, pwede mong ilagay yan sa labas ng artboard. That's why you notice that sa mga ibang examples natin, meron akong mga parang drawing or artwork sa labas ng artboard kasi they serve as backup or duplicate. Kasi sa Photoshop, ang ginagawa natin, we duplicate our layers. So dito, we can just duplicate our objects since Illustrator allows us naman to place those objects outside artboards, etc. Well, continue tayo. Expand appearance, like that. Also, this example, from here, I can just select all of this. Tapos, while still selected, pwede kong i-change yung option dito like basic stroke. Mapansin natin dito yung mga stroke na ginawa ko kanina. I can also select yung size ng stroke na gusto ko. And also, aside from that, yung pinakita ko sa inyong with profile ng stroke, you can click from here and then click maybe this one or this one. You'll notice yung work natin like this is na-change natin into something na parang may pen pressure when you draw it, right? You can still further change it using your direct selection tool, like that. You can still click, tapos you can adjust yung way kung paano appear dito yung stroke. Of course, we can also delete extra stroke pag na-discuss na natin yung making complex shapes. How can we cut such shapes? Ayan. Also, when you convert this into a fill shape, so sinelect ko siya. So, object ulit. And then expand appearance. So, when you do that, you'll notice here na pwede pa nating ma-modify ngayon yung mga different part niya. So, using direct selection tool, I can double click here. Tapos pwede kong i-drag like that. So, pwede nating i-correct yung other parts. Like that. So, from there, you can create such different output, right? So, ayun class. Yun yung topic natin dun sa part ng expanding shapes, fills, and strokes. So, kahit fill, kahit text, pwede natin i-convert into something like that. Do you have any questions muna, class? Any questions so far? Alright, so I guess wala tayong further questions muna for now. So let me save this as a new file. Let's see, expand complex. Okay, so now we have talked about how to expand such shapes, right? And strokes. So let's proceed on working with Pathfinder and Shape Builder tool. Class, siguro sa discussion natin sa Illustrator, isa to sa pinaka importanteng part, yung working with Pathfinder panel and Shape Builder tool. Bakit? Kasi, based from these tools or panels, we can create sample output like yung logo na ginawa ko kanina. So wala namang shape na automatic ganito agad, di ba? Or automatic ganito agad yung output or ganyan. So magagawa mo lang yan kapag you did complex shapes na working with Pathfinder or Shape Builder tool. And I also have here mga sample icons like this na magagawa mo lang kapag meron ka ng idea on how Pathfinder Shape Builder tool works. So sa module natin, if you're going to continue on this part, so mga examples na pag-expand natin kanina, we can create compound shapes or mga complex shapes na tinatawag. And then class, from here, ito yung tinatawag na Pathfinder panel. Okay, mamaya pakita ko din sa inyo. So from this shape, you can actually convert that or convert that into something like this. O kaya this one, pwede mong i-cut yung mga different parts niya or output something like that. From this example, you'll notice class na ang difference sa Adobe Animate before. Sa Adobe Animate, pagka collide na yung two or more colors, or same colors, nagme-merge sila agad. Pag magkaiba sila ng color, nagka-cut agad yung output natin or nagtitrim agad yung mga shapes. Sa Illustrator, hindi agad nangyayari yon unless you use Pathfinder. So, pag alam mo gamitin si Pathfinder, you can create complex shapes. And ito pa yung mga possible output like this. Ayan. So, I do advise na to check your module to read some examples, descriptions like that. But I will show you a demonstration how it works, of course. And after that, we'll be talking about Shape Builder tool. So, dun muna tayo sa may Pathfinder. Okay? Yung Pathfinder class can be accessed using this sa natin. Dito sa panel options natin from here sa right side. So I have your Pathfinder and then I have different shape modes. Also, you can click window every time na hindi mo makita nasan yung panel na yon na ginamit ni sir or ginamit to create such output. So pumunta ka lang lagi sa window. Sir, hinahanap ko yung Pathfinder, punta ka sa window and then you can see Pathfinder tool. Okay? Or Pathfinder panel. Dati kasi tinatawag siyang Pathfinder tool. But yeah, di mo makita yung color or swatches, punta ka lang sa window ulit. You can just click window, kaya you can just find swatches or different panels na nandito or type. Gusto mo makita yung character, yung paragraph panel, katulad sa Photoshop, punta ka lang dito sa type and then yon. So lahat ng panels nandyan. But we'll just focus for now on this part. This sa paggamit natin ng Pathfinder. Okay. So let's proceed din sa file natin kanina. And for this example, let me lock this layer, create a new layer, and then I can just hide this original layer that we had. Now, let's work around with Pathfinder. So to work around with Pathfinder, first is I'll be creating shapes na i-experiment natin, of course. So I'll click ellipse tool muna, katulad na sa module na lang para same makita niyo yung idea, yung demonstration niya. So I have a circle dito. I-click and drag lang tayo while holding shift. Tapos, class, if you are going to work around with your shape, na baka mamaya hindi mo na mabalik sa dati yung ginawa mong artwork, gusto mo magkaroon na backup, di ba? So, ways to create backup file or shape mo dito or artwork is to simply copy and paste kasi it allows us naman to paste it outside ng artboard. So, you can just copy, Control-C, tapos Control-V, yan. Tapos, lagay mo na lang sa labas. So, para may backup ka, ano man ang gawin mo dito na let's say, erase mo man yung part na yan, ito yung output mo, ayan, may ganyan ka. Tapos hindi mo nagustuhan yung artwork mo, output mo, ayan, meron ka ditong backup. So, something like that. You can just simply copy and paste. But, I'll show you a technique class na may tinatawag tayong duplicate objects. when you duplicate objects, hindi mo na kailangan mag-copy and paste. Again, hindi mo na kailangan mag-copy and paste. Simply yung output na duplicate na to is just by holding, by selecting your object muna first. Selecting your object, and then hold mo yung Alt. Hold mo yung Alt sa keyboard, tsaka mo i-drag yung selection mo. So, select mo yung object, press mo yung hold Alt, tapos drag yung object. Also, class, yung shortcut na to, yung method na to, sabihin ko sa inyo, baka hindi pa alam ng iba, pwede itong i-apply kahit sa almost kahit sa ang software na pwede kayong mag-add ng mga objects or shapes or what. Even dito sa PowerPoint actually. So for example, I have this. Like that. Gusto ko siyang i-duplicate. So ang gagawin ko, i-click ko yung object. After ko siyang i-click, hold ko yung Alt. After ko siyang i-click, hold ko yung Alt. Tapos, Control. So, hinhold ko yung Alt tsaka yung Control. And then, as you can see here, i-release ko yung mouse pointer. And then, release ko yung sa keyboard. And you notice na na-duplicate, di ba? Yung object natin from here. Sa PowerPoint, pwede siya. So, how about sa Illustrator? So, sa Illustrator, click mo yung object, hold mo yung Alt, naka-hold lang sa Alt, and then you can just click and drag. There, di ba? Napansin nyo, na-duplicate yung shape agad natin. So again, click mo yung object, hold mo yung Alt, pwede mo ring hold yung Control if you want, pwede mo ring i-hold yung Shift para uniform yung alignment, and then you can just drag it here. Tapos, una mong i-release yung mouse pointer, tsaka mo palang i-release yung sa keyboard. So there, nagkaroon ka na ng duplicate without doing copy and paste like that. So it is very useful kasi para sa akin, para di ko na kailangan mag-copy and paste. Minsan, napaka-complex ng artwork mo. And minsan mas mabilis para sa akin yung ganong way. So again, that's just an option. The other option is just copy and paste. Something like that. Now, since we'll be working with an experiment on how Pathfinder works, meron na tayong backup. Ito pala, backup natin sa labas. Yan, nag-duplicate ako. Now, since meron tayong backup, we can do our experiment. So, I will just duplicate this maybe 4 times. Like that. And also, duplicate natin ito maybe kahit sa baba. Yan. So, I have this different shapes now. Now, let's experiment Pathfinder Tool. So, let me drag this whole panel actually para mas makita niyo yung demo natin. Okay, so select ko to, yung dalawang shapes na yan. Hindi pa sila magkasama klasa. So, select ko lang sila and then I can try any of these. Let's say, let's click Unite. Unite is simply from the word unite, united as one, like that. So, kahit napakarami ng shapes mo, 2, 2 or more, kapag sinelect mo sila both, tsaka makilik yung unite, it simply merges all of them. I cannot just emphasize yung word na merge talaga kasi class, merong ditong merge. Okay? Ang pinagkaiba ni merge tsaka ni unite, si unite, ginagawa niyang isa, yung marami. Si merge, pinagsasama niya yung mga may same colors. So, let's say, for example, like this, select ko yan, and then merge. So, as you can see, pinagsama niya tong dalawang same colors. Pero si unite, like that, select ko yan, pag kinlik ko yung unite, it merges all of them into one. Diba? So, yun yung difference nila. So, si unite tsaka si merge parang same, but ang difference, si unite, ginagawa niyang isa. Si merge, lahat lang ng same color, pinagsasama. So, something like that. So, select, unite. Let's try the other one. Select, tapos, ano to? Minus front. So, pag sinabi minus front class, ginagamit ng pang-subtract. Okay, ginagamit ng pang-subtract etong nasa front. Diba, meron tayong idea where you can select your object, right-click, arrange, pwede mo siyang i-bring to front, diba? Send to back. Right now, yung naka-front is yung pink na to. So, kung siya yung naka-front, siya yung taga-subtract ngayon sa shape natin na nasa ibaba. So, I can just select, tapos, click minus front, So in this case, boom. So makakat na yung shape natin from here based from that front shape that we have kasi minus front. Right? So naging pang minus siya, naging pang subtract siya this sa base. Ito pa, select. How about this one? Meron tayong tinatawag na intersect. Kita nyo naman sa icon niya dito na kung ano yung intersection area, yun yung matitira. So, click. So, as you can see, kung ano yung intersection area nila dito, yun lang yung matitira. And, also, we have here yung exclude. So, yung exclude, kabaliktaran naman siya ni intersect. So, si exclude, kung ano yung mga excluded dun sa intersection. Like, for example, here, ito yung intersection area. Tapos, yung part na to, yung blue na to, tsaka yung sa baba, sila yung mga excluded sa intersection. So, when you do that, sila lang yung matitira. Okay? So, like that. We have created such complex shapes. But, for me, class, ito pinaka-advise ko. Isa sa mga pinaka-usable for me, pinaka-safe, is yung divide. Okay? Si divide kasi, it silently trims or cut yung mga shapes. Like, for example, I'm going to select all of this, and then let me click this divide. When you do that, automatically, yung ginagawa na divide, kinat na niya yung mga shapes na to based dun sa pagkaka-collide ng mga shapes. Like from here, kung nakita niyo meron akong circle doon, may circle ako dito, nag-trim na yan, nag-cut na yan. But, ang difference ni divide sa iba is ginugroup niya muna yung mga to. So, ikakat niya, tsaka niya i-group. So, tingnan niyo class ha, when I click and drag from here, as you can see, naka-group pa rin sila. Safe. Naka-group siya. Pag nag-double click ka, since naka-group, makapasok tayo ngayon sa isolation mode, katulad ng discussion natin before. Pag nakapasok ka na sa isolation mode or sa loob ng group na yun, pwede mo na itong i-click and drag. Like that. You'll notice na na-cut niya yung mga shape in a safe way. Diba? So you can also again select all of this, tapos let's say divide. Nag-undo ako, nag-control Z ako, so dinivide ko ulit. Instead of going inside do sa group sa isolation mode, you can just right click and then ungroup. Wait, na-divide ko na ba? Ulitin natin ha. So I have selected this. Instead na pumasok ka dito sa isolation mode, click, right click, and then ungroup. So when you do that, you can just drag all of them. Kahit di ka na pumasok sa isolation mode, na-ungroup mo na sila. So in that case, pwede ka na mapag-create ng mga complex shapes mo. Like this. Well, so, kung ano man ang gusto natin create na complex shapes. Or you can start working around with that. You can copy and paste that. Yan, diba? Tapos you can use your pen tool. So, yan. So, different shapes na pwede natin ma-create. Alright, so that's just how Pathfinder works. Okay? We can now proceed with Shape Builder tool. So, Shape Builder tool, let me create another layer. In this time, let me show you class. Maybe a different shape naman. Try naman natin si rectangle. So, sa rectangle, let me select a color. Gusto natin. From here. Tapos, create pa ako ng another rectangle. Like that. And like that. And something like this. Okay. And then, change natin yung colors nila. Let's say, eto, maybe this color. Tapos ito, maybe a different color like that. Yan. So from here, I have different shapes. Let me duplicate them into something like this one na may different color naman on that part. Tapos let me duplicate it again. Experiment lang tayo using Shape Builder tool. Right now, di ko na muna gagamitin si Pathfinder, so ibabalik ko na muna siya from here. Tapos ito mga shapes na to, tatanggalin ko yung fill color nila. So yung shape, yung fill, gagawin ko siyang none. Tapos yung stroke, select ako ng color kahit black na lang. And then just adjust yung size like that. Alright, so I guess complete na yung mga shapes na pwede nating example. Okay. So from here, class, where is Shape Builder tool? Kung si Pathfinder nasa panel siya, sa Shape Builder tool nandito lang sa tools panel natin. Ako in my case, it is very useful for me to use yung shortcut nito. Class, hindi ko sinasabing kabisaduhin nyo lahat ng shortcuts, no, ng mga shapes na meron tayo dyan or tools, no. But for me, pinaka-useful na shortcut na pwede ko magamit dito is yung Shape Builder at saka si Selection Tool. So while pressing V, magiging Selection Tool na siya. Shape Builder Tool, Shift M. Sir, daw mahilig mag-shortcut. Okay lang. Kung di kayo mahilig mag-shortcut, just click this tool and then tapos. Yun lang. Okay? So first, paano ba gamitin Shape Builder Tool? Shape Builder Tool is ginagamit siya para similar din nung Pathfinder. Kung kaya mo gamitin sa Pathfinder, you can use Shape Builder or you can use both, of course, depende sa artwork mo. So let me show you an example. In this example, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 shapes. Dito din meron akong 4 shapes, di ba? Ang pinagkaiba ng eto tsaka dyan, eto meron dalawang shapes na same lang yung color. Eto magkaiba sila. So let me show you yung Shape Builder tool. So select ko yan. After selecting this using my selection tool, of course, I can click Shape Builder tool. Tapos tingnan nyo, class, pag nag-click ako dito, actually kahit di ko pa kiniklik, niro-roll over ko pala yung mouse pointer, na-identify na niya yung mga shape, right? So pag nag-click ako and drag hanggang dito, dun sa kapareho niya ng color, tapos release, you'll notice na nagma-merge yung shape into one. Actually nag-group siya, double click. Ito na siya ngayon, class. Yan, nakapag-create ka ngayon ng ganong output. Same color kasi sila, so na-merge niya. You can also select all of this. Punta ka sa Shape Builder tool. Tapos hold mo yung Alt. Kasi pag tinapat mo nakalagay plus sign, di ba? Ayun, no? Yung mouse pointer, meron siyang plus sign sa baba na maliit na icon. Pag hold mo yung Alt, nagiging minus sign siya. Meaning you are subtracting naman. So, when you click on this part, habang naka-hold ka sa Alt, you'll notice na sinubtract niya yung part na yon. So, hold mo yung Alt ulit. Tapos, let's say, click mo yan. Click mo to. Ayan. So, you can create this example. So, ito, ayan select natin yan. Shift M. O kaya, click mo yung Shape Builder tool. Tapos, pag hold mo yung Alt, let's say, click and drag. Lahat yun, nire-remove niya. Diba? So, hold mo yung Alt ulit. Pwede natin i-click to, i-click yan, ito, ayan. So, as you can see here, napag-create tayo ng complex shape, diba? By using Shape Builder tool. Also, sir, pwede po ba yan sa strokes? Pwede rin. Sa Pathfinder kasi medyo nagiging weird minsan yung output, but sa Shape Builder tool, it is very useful for me kapag stroke yung kinakat natin. So, I can hold yung Alt. Tapos, habang na-hold ako sa Alt, pwede kong i-click yung, let's say, yung stroke na to, yung part na to, pwede niyang i-remove. Ayan. Ayan, like that. There. So from there, napansin nyo, class, na pwede nating i-change. Siyempre, mga capping ng stroke, you can just select them tapos adjust natin yung capping dun sa stroke panel. You can pwede natin gawing round capping, projecting cap, etc. So gaya ng ginawa natin before nung kinreate natin yung owl, yung paa niya, yung part na yun. So there, class, using Shape Builder tool, pwede tayo mag-create ng complex shapes. And from that, let me show you an example. You can now create logos or something. Pwede kayo mag-practice, or you can create icons like this. So halimbawa, you want to create balik tayo dito sa file natin na to. You want to create an icon, for example. Let me show you an example. Sige, pakita lang natin. Baka mag-create pa ako ng another separate video, depende. Pero baka makapag-create ako ng separate video or recording or maybe discussion on something like this. Mag-focus tayo sa part na ganyan. Okay, so pwede ako mag-create ng ganito. Tapos, maybe the-drag ko ng konti to para medyo rounded yung edges. Tapos, pwede ako mag-create ng rectangle ulit, maybe in a different color. Tapos, maybe I can create something, another shape like that. Yun. Tapos, pwede kong i-select both of them para lang sure. Pwede kong i-click ngayon yung align panel from here. Drag ko lang siya dyan. Para ma-assure ko lang yung alignment. So you can just select all of this, set mo siya align to selection. So para yung mga alignment mo, based siya doon sa selection na ginawa mo. You can just move this around a little bit. Adjust a little bit then. That. Tapos pwede akong mag-create ng another here. So para tayo mag-create ng parang cellphone na icon. Yan. So as you can see, naglalagay lang tayo ng mga shape from here like that. Another rectangle maybe from here. Tapos I can just make it more rounded like that. Right? So from there, meron ka na ng icon. Example mo here. So group ko lang to, ayan nasa taas. Tapos I can select all of this. And then sa alignments, I will select horizontal align center. Yan, so para aligned lang sila. And from there, class, duplicate natin. Pakita ko sa inyo. From there, you can select all of this. Tapos punta tayo sa Shape Builder Tool. Ayan. Gusto kong tanggalin ngayon yung mga dark areas na to. Ayan. So I can hold Alt, diba? Tapos click natin. Ayan. Habang naka-hold ako sa Alt, kiniklik ko yan. Click. Click. Up. Yan. So as you can see, from there, nakapag-create tayo ng mobile phone na icon. Or, you can select all of this. Punta ka sa Pathfinder. Yan, so Pathfinder. Yan. Tapos habang nakaselect ka dyan, click mo yung divide. Diba? Ngayon, right click mo to, ungroup. So you can just click this part, then delete. Click. Delete. Click. Delete. Click. Delete. So yung ginamit ko dun is yung divide. Diba? Right after that, you can select all of this para sure ka. You can just click merge para lahat ng mga path or uneven path kung meron man na may same color magme-merge. Or you can select all of this. If you want, isang color lang naman ginagamit ko, I can just click unite. So, from there, class, as you can see, napag-create tayo ng icon, di ba? Based from those complex method or processes using with Pathfinder or Shape Builder tool. So, ayun class, yung example. Pwede akong mag-create ng separate video or maybe different meeting, depende sa sked. But check natin. Focus natin for now is at least ma-tackle natin paano mag-create ng complex shapes using these tools and panels, and you can create your own, of course, actually. And then let's have clipping mask naman. Sa clipping mask, the idea ng clipping mask is katulad natin sa Photoshop before. Sa module, pakita ko lang sa inyo. Nasa bandang last part siya ng lesson 3. So, yung mga to class pakicheck na lang yung example. Sa module, so ginamit yung clipping mask dito. Sa ganitong example, may text, may background image, tapos ginawa siyang ganun. In my case, gagamitin ko si clipping mask in a different way. So, maybe create ako na new layer. Pwede akong mag-add na different shapes. So, ellipse. Change ko yung color. Change ko yung shape. With a different color. Like that. Tapos ito din. Yan. Select ko to, change into different color. Like that. And then now, I can select all of this, tapos pwede ko siyang i-group. Okay. So after kong i-group to, pwede akong mag-create class ng other shape na pwede kong gamitin as mask or clipping mask. So, let's say a polygon or even just a rectangle. Ayan. Tapos create ako ng color, kahit anong ng shape, kahit anong color, okay lang yan. Di naman makikita yung color ng mask natin pagka ganito. So, I have this group now or group of objects. Tapos ito yung magiging mask ko. So, let's say gusto kong mangyari, ang gusto ko lang i-appear is yung area na to. Diyan. Then, so again, ito yung magiging mask natin, class. Ito yung mga group of objects natin. I can now select all of this, right-click, and then make clipping mask. So, when I do that, as you can see, parang na-crop, no, yung mga different part ng objects, but actually clipping mask is just katulad sa Photoshop, parang minask lang natin yung mga objects. Kung ano yung size ng mask mo, hanggang dun lang yung appearance ng mga objects. When you double click this, may feel nyo pa rin na nandun pa din yung mga shapes natin, nakamask lang sila like that. So nakapasok lang tayo sa isolation mode. If you want to undo yung clipping mask natin, of course you can go right click this and then release clipping mask. Yan, para bumalik. Tapos yung mask natin kanina is still existing pa din. Ito siya. Wala nga lang siyang color. Parang nawala lang yung property color niya. Pero ayun pa rin siya. So, that's just how clipping mask works, class. Do you have any questions muna before we proceed? Okay, wala tayong questions. Sige, wala. Maybe we can proceed with na-discuss natin to. Let's work with multiple artboards, class. Okay. So, working with multiple artboards is very beneficial sa pag-create ng mga artworks natin. Yung mga multiple artboards din natin na to, pwede natin silang i-duplicate, i-create in a custom way, modify size, save as PDF, etc. yung file mo for presentation mode, etc. So, first, artboard is simply yung white area na to. Ibalik ko na muna yung Pathfinder here. Yan. So, simply ito yung artboard natin, yung white area na yan, kung saan tayo nag-work around any artwork na meron tayo. And then, we can actually duplicate our artboards. Like what I have here, I have yung draft file ko dito. So let's say you have different options of artwork, or let's say web and mobile track, nag-create kayo ng web design. Design kada pages dito nakalagay sa bawat artboards natin. O kaya, kinrate nyo sa Photoshop or something, tapos nilagay nyo sa mga artboards nito para ma-present nyo in multiple way. Pwede rin. You can do that, okay? You can do multiple artboards like this. So, let's say, nag-create tayo ng logo, tapos, pakita ko sa inyo. Kakopy ko lang yung dalawang logo na yun. Tapos, mag-create ako ng new file. Sige, click na natin yung create, tapos paste ko. Yan. In my case, it is very possible naman yung ganito. Na I have two logos or two artwork like that. Tapos pwede ko namang i-save to pareho actually sa isang artboard lang. But it is very neat. It is very good looking. It is very being emphasized yung artwork mo, na-emphasize siya further kapag solo niya yung artboard, may tamang white space, etc. So, I can just create a different artboard sana to each of them. So, paano natin gagawin yan? Save ko muna to class as artboard. And then, let me create different artboards. First is ganito. Meron tayong two ways on how to create artboards. So, to create artboards, pakita ko muna yung first way. The first way to create your artboard is this. Zoom out ko lang. Tapos zoom in ko dito. So, ito yung way para mapag-create ng artboard. First method, first way, first option is, di ba meron tayong layers panel? Usually, class, magkasama naman yung layers panel tsaka yung artboards panel dito. So, kung di nyo kita tong artboards na to, na panel, you can just go to window, again, sabi ko nga, tas click artboards. But by default, sa essentials workspace, nandito naman yung artboards katabi lang ng layers. So right now, sabi niya meron daw isang artboard. Then, you can also click this icon if you want to create another artboard. So meron ng artboard 2, pwede mo rin siyang i-delete kung ayaw mo siya. But again, ito yung icon to create another artboard. Now, pag bumalik tayo dito ngayon sa workspace natin, you'll notice na dalawa na yung artboards natin. Pwede ko na ngayong i-drag around to dito, tas ito dyan. So, I can present this artboards dun sa client natin. Diba? Okay? So, ganun yung first way on how to create artboards. Ano naman yung second way? Okay. The second way to create your artboards is, eto mas madali, eto yung pinakamadali, kiklik mo lang doon. The second is yung mas customized way. So let's say I have only one artboard lang. What I can do is, you can go to here, yung tinatawag na Artboard Tool. As you can see, nung kinlik ko pa lang siya, hinighlight na niya agad yung artboard ko. 'Di ba? So, para saan itong Artboard Tool na to? Para sa akin, mas gusto ko siya ginagamit kasi hina-highlight niya yung artboard, kaya niyang i-highlight yung artboard, nilalagay niya ng handles, na as you can see, pag may handles na ganyan, pwede mong i-resize, diba? So, ganun nga. As in, pagka-click mo sa Artboard Tool, pwede mong i-click tong artboard na to, tapos pwede mong i-adjust yung width and size ng artboard natin. While it is still selected sa Artboard Tool, class, hindi ko ginamit yung selection tool, ginamit ko is Artboard Tool. So, I have Artboard Tool. Click ko yan. In-adjust ko yung width and height. But actually, when I do that, sa option bar natin, you'll notice here yung width and height ng artboard natin na meron tayo. So, I can select here. Gawin ko siyang 800 din. Press enter. So, in that way, even yung width and height ng artboard ko, just in my case. So, pwede nyo namang baguhin din yun in your case. So, like that. Now, para sure lang ako na yung logo ko na to is gusto ko nakasenter siya horizontally, vertically. What I can do here is I can go click this. Click na lang kasi naka-group na tayo. Kaya you can select all of this, i-group mo muna. Pag nag-group mo na, like in my case, naka-group na, punta ka sa align panel. Okay. Pagdating sa align panel, you can align it to selection or to artboard. Gusto ko naka-align siya sa artboard. Naka-center horizontally and vertically. So I can click this align to artboard. Tapos I can go click this horizontal align center. Tapos I can also click vertical align center. Right there. So, as you can see here now, yung logo natin is really naka-center na siya horizontally and vertically. So, that's just how you customize your artboard. Sir, ano pa pwede mong gawin sa Artboard Tool? Using Artboard Tool, you can just click Artboard Tool. Pwede mo pa rin itong i-drag around like that. So, as you can see, sumasama naman yung content niya. Kasi sa layers panel natin, unlock naman kasi by default. Pag naka-lock kasi yan, usually hindi mo pwedeng i-duplicate or kontrolin yung content niya inside. Yan o. So, pwede nating i-drag anywhere. Next, what you can also do here is since meron tayong Artboard Tool selected, I can now click here. Tapos pwede akong mag-click dito, tapos pwede mag-create na sarili kong artboard in a customized way in a different size like this. Tapos pwede mag-create ng another artboard pa like that. Diba? So, mas customized kaysa dun sa nakiklik lang tayo muna dun sa artboards panel. But dun sa artboards panel, it is sure na yung ginagawa niyang next artboard is same size nito. Napakaganda pagka ang balak mo lang naman talaga is to present your work with same size, etc. But sa using Artboard Tool, I'm just showing you an example na possible yon to click or to create another artboard like this. It doesn't matter kung tama ba yung size, kapareho ba o hindi. You can just click your Artboard Tool, click mo yung artboard mo, tapos you can just resize. Like that. You can just drag that. And then yung output natin na ito, lalagay natin din sa artboard. Now, you can click this, align to artboard, horizontal align center, vertical align center. So there, na-solve natin class yung gusto nating mangyari. No? Gusto natin mangyari na i-present yung logo natin, yung mga options ng logo natin into two artboards. Next is for presentation purposes. Gusto mo tong i-present, no? File. Tapos pwedeng save as. Pag save as, pwede mong i-select dito yung PDF. Pero ako ginagawa ko class. Since meron ka na nung AI file, na-save ko na yung AI file niya or Adobe Illustrator file, I can just go click file and then save a copy. So when I click save a copy, from here, may nakalagay agad copy. Just so I can avoid replacing my files. But it's okay. Basta iba naman ng file type, hindi mo naman replace. So let's say PDF file, artboard copy. Pwede ko pang change yung name, but okay na yun. Tapos I can click save. Tapos may mag-appear na dialog box. Okay. Pag may nag-appear dialog box, you can adjust any settings you want here. But personally, ito ginagawa ko sa options na to, sa general options. Ina-uncheck ko tong preserve Illustrator editing capabilities. Bakit? To reduce file size. Yun yung pinaka main purpose. Kasi kapag i-present mo to sa client mo, ayaw mo naman siguro na nagda-download pa siya ng medyo mataas-taas na file just to see kung ano yung option na ginawa mo sa logo. Kung ang purpose mo is send mo yung PDF tapos gusto mo kaya niyang i-edit sa PDF, hayaan mo naka-check to. Yun lang. Pero when you uncheck this, you can just allow your clients to just see or view yung mga options without any editing capabilities. Maka-reduce ka pa ng file size. So to reduce file size, I can click save PDF, click OK. And then, from there, hanapin natin yung output folder na meron tayo. So, 3.0 output. From here, you'll see meron na akong artboard copy.pdf. And in that case, you'll see here na meron na tayong 2 pages sa PDF. So, ito yung first page mo, ito yung second page. So, in that way, mas maganda sa paningin, sa viewer side, na ito po yung first mockup namin, ito yung second mockup. So, halimbawa, nag-create ka ng mockup or possible output, possible user interface, diba? User interface ng mobile app mo, web app, or web design, web pages. Pwede mo sabihin, ito po yung sa landing page namin, ito po yung sa header namin, ito yung sa footer, ito yung etc. Hero images, ito yung content pages, ito yung testimony section, ito yung section ng web page namin, etc. Ito po yung interface dun sa ganitong feature or section ng aming website, etc. So, pwede mong i-present yun with multiple artboards dito sa Adobe Illustrator. So, okay, ganun napaka-useful ng artboards. Now, let's proceed dun sa working with colors and recoloring artwork. When you work with colors sa Adobe Illustrator, mag-recolor ka man ng artwork or what, yung pinaka-basic na dapat alam nyo gamitin is how to use color and swatches panel. It may sound weird siguro kasi parang napakadali lang naman gamitin ng mga to, but I'll show you a technique class on how to work around with color and swatches, very easy way para kapag magre-recolor kayo ng artwork, napakadali na lang. So, from here, let me recolor maybe yung logo. Possible kasi minsan na sasabihin ni client, okay, gawa mo ko ng logo, tapos pag ginawa mo ng logo, bigyan mo ko ng options. Siguro yung option na logo, bigyan mo ko ng 2 options ng design ng logo, tapos bigyan mo ko ng other options na with different color, maybe ganitong color combination gamitin mo or what. So, paano yun? Okay? So, pwede natin i-recolor yung mga artwork natin na to with different colors without starting from the scratch. So, to do that, ang ginagawa ko is mag-create muna ako ng first version. Tapos, kikreate ako ng mga ganito, na ganyan. Tapos, i-duplicate ko yung artboard. What? Yes, pwedeng i-duplicate yung artboard. Kung kanina, sa artboard panel, meron ka dito ang artboard 1, yung artboard 2 yung kanina. Create ka lang ng artboard. Pwede mong i-arrange, etc. yung artboard. In my case, I do usually use Artboard Tool to create new artboards, also to duplicate artboard. So, parang ganito lang. Paano ba yung shortcut? Paano ba yung technique pag magdo-duplicate ka? Diba sabi ko, hold nyo lang yung Alt, tapos drag. So, pwedeng i-hold mo yung Alt, tapos Shift para aligned. Hold Alt, tapos i-drag mo yung artboard. Pwede yun. So, habang nakaselect to, make sure yung mga layers mo dyan sa artboard naka-unlock, or else hindi sasama yung contents, no? Pero minsan gusto mo lang naman duplicate yung artboard, di kasama yung contents, ilock mo yung layer. But in my case, I'll just leave that unlocked, and then using my artboard panel, I can have it here. Drag ko lang siya, hold ko yung Alt, tapos hold ko yung Shift. Actually, sinasama ko din yung Control Shift Alt para properly aligned. That. So, click ko yung artboard na to, hold ko yung Shift and Alt. Kahit Shift Alt lang, pwede na. Shift Alt. Ayan. Then, release mouse, and then, ayun. Now, I can have 4 pages na, okay, para sa PDF ko. But, with different colors sana for this. So, let's start recoloring our artwork with the basics using color and swatches panel. Okay, so from here, class, hanapin natin color and swatches panel. Ito yun. Yan. So, para mas madali nyo na lang makita, dinadrag around ko na lang yung mga panels. Okay? So, sa color and swatches panel class, ito yung pinaka-main para sa akin, from my experience, ito yung pinaka main purpose nila, no? Si color, pwede ka mag-select ng color, of course. Si swatches, pwede ka rin mag-select ng color. Pero the difference is this. Si color, mas wide yung variation ng color na pwede mong i-change. While sa swatches, meron na siyang mga preset color swatches, as you can see here. Right? Pwede ka rin mag-click ng icon dito to create a new swatch. Or as you can see, may group dito ng shade of gray, shade of different web color group. Pwede ka mag-create ng another shade or color palette. Usually, mga ibang company, meron silang tinatawag na branding identity, mga color themes, color palette na pwede nyong gamitin. So, pwede mong i-add yung mga yon dito. But how to do that, di ba? So, halimbawa, to use any colors, you can just select this. Pero the idea ng swatches class for me is para siyang storage lang. Para siyang storage ng mga different colors para kapag gagamitin mo ulit, you can just pull these colors out papunta dun sa different artwork mo or vector shapes. So, let's have color muna. Ito lagi yung first step for me. You can just click color panel. Tapos, select ka ng color na gusto mo. Okay? Now, in my case, gusto kong i-recolor yung part na to. So, maybe, what I can do here, since naka-group siya, para nasa-select ko yung part na to, I can just right-click this and then ungroup. Pag naka-group pa din, ay naka-group pa rin yung part na yun, right-click ko siya and then ungroup. Yan. I guess pwede ko nang i-select ngayon yung mga individual shapes ko dito. Eto, naka-group pa rin pero okay lang. Same color lang naman sila. So, gusto kong palitan ngayon yung color na ito. So, let's say, click this shape. Tapos mag-appear yung color niya, yung RGB values. And then so on and so forth. You can just adjust these values. To select color, to adjust yung color. But in my case, since RGB okay yan for screen, you can click this part class, yung option niya dito. You can click that and then select kung RGB or CMYK. Kung sa screen, RGB. Kapag print, CMYK. Sir, ano yung HSB? Yung HSB is same lang ng RGB class. Same ng RGB, pero bakit nilagay nila HSB? Same ng RGB, pero different way lang siya. Different way kung paano mag-define ng color. Sa RGB, pag mag-define ka ng color, i-adjust mo yung section na to for red, for green, and for blue to define any color. Pero in my case, I can just click this tapos gagamitin ko yung HSB. HSB stands for hue, saturation, and brightness, which is napaka easy to understand na yung hue is yung basically base color, saturation yung tingkad, no? Tingkad ng color natin, gaano ka-saturate yung color. Yung brightness and darkness, kitang-kita naman gaano ka-dark, gaano ka-light yung color. So let's say, saselect ko ng color na medyo malapit sa brown, maybe somewhere here. Tapos, adjust ko yung saturation, maybe, or adjust natin ng konti pa yung color. Selection natin dito sa hue. Like that. Tapos, maybe, I can adjust yung darkness or yung brightness niya dito. So, let's say, ito yung lightness niya. Ito yung saturation niya. Yan. So, nakapag-define na ba ako ng color? Yes, nakapag-define na tayo ng color. We can now go to swatches. Tsaka natin i-save yung color na yon. So, I can go now, click this new swatch to save this color. So, let's say, rename ko siya as main color. Like that. And then I can click OK. Right? When you do that, masasave na dito yung bagong swatch mo. Now, bakit mo sir sinave pa yung color na yun? For what purpose? Kasi, pwede kong i-click ngayon yung part na to, tsaka ako i-click yun. Pwede kong i-click yung part na to, click yan. Click kayo to, color na to, and then, like that. Diba? So, napaka-easy to populate na lang yung color na yan, or distribute yung color na yan dun sa artwork natin. But, I'll do a different way. Instead of putting it here, na baka malito ako sooner or later sa project ko na nasan ba yung mga inad ko, I can just create a new group here, new color group. Let's say my group, and then from that group I can just simply click and drag that from here. I mean, to here, to this group. Okay, like that. Kung ayaw mo to, color na to, nagkamali ka sa color, pwede mo tong i-delete actually, but yeah, ganun yung pag-a-add ng color natin sa Swatches panel. Now, I would like to apply a different way ng coloring dito sa logo na to. Instead of same colors, I can just click this part now. Tapos, pupunta ako sa color panel. I can go to, let's say, HSB to adjust yung variation ng color na meron tayo dito. Maybe medyo saturated ng konti. Tapos, medyo dark ng konti yung color. Like that. So I guess this color works. I can now go to Swatches. I can click this group. Tapos I can click this new swatch. Let's say, lagay natin dark. Tapos I can go to color ulit. Actually, we can click this muna siguro sa Swatches. Tapos, gamitan natin ng light. Okay na yan. Pero etong part na to, gusto ko dark siya. So, I can just click dark. Tapos, yung part na to, gusto ko siya naka-front. So, let's say, bring to front. There. So, I have a different way I color this this logo. No? So, now, in this part, I can just select this. Tapos, pwede akong pumili ng other color ulit. Maybe somewhere from here. Tapos adjust ko yung saturation, yung brightness, or I can select from here actually. Tapos i-adjust na lang natin later on yung saturation, yung brightness or darkness, like that. And yeah, I guess okay na yung color na nagawa natin na to. Okay, so from here, yung color na to, I can go to Swatches now just to make sure na na-save ko yung color kasi later on, gagamitin ko din yung color na yan. Now, at least I have these 3 colors siguro, pwede na yan. I can now click this text. Tapos, select ko yung dark and yep. Okay, so I have recolored this artwork in a different way now. Okay, like that. Now, we can go to our next option ng logo. Let's say next option pero gusto natin same color like this. So, napaka-useful ng ginawa nating method sa Swatches kasi na-save natin yung mga to, di ba? So, I can now right-click this and then ungroup kasi naka-group siya. Right-click, ungroup. Right-click, ungroup. Yan. Alright. So, now, I can right-click and ungroup ulit to, yung part na to. So, just to make sure na I can select them. So, yun. Next is i-recolor natin. So, I can now select yung dalawang tong shape na yan. Tapos, click ko yung main color. Tapos, select ko yung dalawang shape na to. And I can select dark color. Tapos, I can select this. Yung pinaka-last part. Ayan. So, na-color ko na yun. Now, balik tayo dun sa yung part naman na to. Let's say, I can go click yung mga leaves. Tapos, I can click siguro yung color na yan. Like that. So, naka-recolor na natin. Medyo may tamang contrast of color combination from here. But I can also change it. Again, let's say, select ko yung part na to. Tapos, I can choose I can ungroup ulit. Tapos select natin yung part na to, maybe this main color, pwede, or dark color, like that. Tsaka ito, dark color. So from there, napag-create tayo ng variation ng color, recoloring ng artwork natin using color and swatches panel. Diba? So I hope you understand it easily, yung paggamit ng color, select ng color, paggamit ng HSP, use saturation and brightness, and how did you, or how can we save those colors, I mean, dito sa swatches panel into group, so you can just easily distribute those colors dun sa mga future shapes or artworks na gagawin mo. So, Ayan class, on how to use color and swatches. Now, yung recolor artwork nagawa na natin actually, pero merong feature si Adobe Illustrator here on how can we recolor our artwork using this method, yung tinatawag na edit colors tapos recolor artwork. So in order to do that or to apply this, we can go like from here, edit colors, tapos meron tayo ditong recolor artwork. Kaso naka-disabled kasi kung wala naman tayong selected object or selected shape to recolor our artwork, right? So let me duplicate first yung artboard natin. So duplicate ko lang siya here, or maybe I can place it here, and even this one here. So dalawa kasi para mapakita ko sa inyo different options ng pag-recolor. Now, if you want, class, kapag magre-recolor tayo ng artwork, pwede nating i-select to. Pwede na natin tong i-group. Pwede na yan. Okay. Kanina kasi nag-group ako, so I can click yung mga different parts. Kaso minsan matagal yung ganong way. Depende dun sa project na meron ka. Kung masyado marami yung mga shapes, medyo matagal yung ganong way. Yung color and swatches, dito ka nag-select ng color. So, pero napaka-useful, di ba, nung paggamit ng color and swatches. Which is, ma-apply mo pa rin dito sa recoloring artwork. So, sa akin, select ko yan. Tapos object, dito sa edit pala, sorry. Edit colors, and then recolor artwork. So, you can just click edit colors, recolor artwork. And in that case, i-apply natin yung concept nung color and swatches kanina. So, nandito yung color panel na, yung HSB. Right? So, the idea, class, ng recolor artwork is you can click yung assign or edit. Dito muna tayo sa may assign. Dito sa assign, you can treat it like this. So, ito yung original colors, tapos ito yung mga new colors. So, you can double-click this. Tapos, select tayo ng color na gusto natin. Maybe something purple para dun sa color na yon. Maybe something like that. Or maybe para masyadong matingkad, adjust natin sa saturation. Yan, we can adjust that. Yan, a little bit, something like that. And then from here, yung main color, double click ko to. Punta tayo sa may bandang part na to. So sa main color natin, maybe that color. Tapos sa dark, double click. Maybe this color. As you can see, nakikita na natin yung output agad or effect ng recoloring output natin. Colors. So from before, ito yung after niya. Tapos adjust mo na lang yung hue and saturation or brightness niya dyan. And then you can just click OK. In that way, I have recolored my artwork now without clicking or pointing anywhere from here. Matrabaho kapag ka, let's say, isa-isa, kiniklik mo pa yung mga different parts ng artwork mo, tsaka mo sineselect yung color na gusto mo. No? Pero sa recolor artwork, edit colors, recolor artwork, mas mabilis. So, sineselect niya lahat ng ganong colors, tapos papalitan niya doon sa bagong defined color mo. You can also do that by, again, grouping this. Ginroup ko na. Edit colors, and then recolor artwork ulit. Aside from using assign, you can also use edit. Dito sa edit, you can just simply drag around these circles, yung mga pointers natin na to modify your color. So, maybe in this case, mag-select ako ng different way ng color. Maybe from here, tapos i-adjust ko ng konti yung darkness. Tapos tingin lang natin like that. Tapos, para sa parang highlighting color natin, maybe I can choose a color, maybe something like this. Tapos adjust natin yung saturation, brightness. Like that. Tapos para dun sa main. Yan. As you can see dito sa edit tab, no? Pwede kong i-adjust yung colors na meron tayo dito. Adjust natin ng konti. Like that. So here, na-recolor natin yung artwork. You can click OK. And there, you have it, your different option, different color ng logo na meron ka. Like that. I can now just drag around ito. Balik na natin dito. Yung color and swatches. That. Okay. Now, we can now go save this file. Save a copy. And then, a PDF file. Maybe yung kanina ay replace na lang natin. Save. Yes, replace it. Uncheck. Preserve. Save PDF. Click OK. And then, sa folder natin, makikita na natin yung output from here, where we have different pages now with different options ng colors. Right there. So, from here, class, it is very useful. Makikita natin, very useful talaga yung feature ng edit, recolor artwork ni Adobe Illustrator. Right? So, class, yun yung part ng discussion about recoloring artwork. You can just do your experimentation sa pagko-color, combination, of course, and yun. Okay. So now, since alam na natin paano mag-work around with color, with swatches, adjustment, color, ganon, recoloring, how about working with gradient colors, di ba? So katulad ng pinakita kong example kanina, meron tayong way on how to recolor, add color tapos adjust yung gradient like this. Or I have an example here where I have this, yung pinakita ko kanina na example. So meron siyang gradient background. Or maybe this one. So yun yung isa sa mga example. This one yung pinaka-main example natin, and then we can create our own, of course, based from this. So maybe what I can do here is siguro kunin natin yung mga clouds. Create tayo ng new file. Let's say create ako ng new file. Tapos let me save this as gradient. Okay. So nasave ko na siya as gradient now. Ngayon, para hindi na natin kuhanin yung para hindi na natin i-create yung other parts here, maybe let's just copy yung mga to. Tapos punta tayo sa natin dyan. Without using yung background, i-create tayo ng sarili natin background. So from here, let me reuse this objects. Ayan. And so group ko lang. Yan yung mga clouds. Siguro medyo lakyan natin ng konti. From here. Okay, so let's now maybe create a background for this. So, nag-create ka kunyari ng mga shapes mo, ng mga clouds. Yan. Yung clouds na create ko dito, nag-create lang ako ng mga circles, ng mga ellipse. Tapos, minerge ko lang using Pathfinder Tool. Yan. And then, create tayo ng new layer. Tapos, lagi ko sa bandang ibaba kasi background siya. Say PG. So, yun. Sa background natin, let's create a shape. Maybe let's define a color. Sample color from here. Tapos, ito yung gawin natin background. Like that. Yan. So, now, gusto kong maglagay ng gradient color dito sa example natin na to. So, paano ko lalagyan ng gradient? First class, kapag mag-work around kayo with gradient color, I advise na i-check nyo muna yung gradient panel and also yung gradient tool. And yes, meron tayong gradient panel dito. Pakita ko lang. Ito yung nasan yung gradient. Okay, ito yung gradient panel. Pag di nyo siya kita, di nyo pa kabisado yung icons, it's okay. You can just go to Window and then click Gradient. So when you do that, mag-a-appear na dito yung Gradient panel. Actually, pwede ko siya i-drag around ulit from here. So we can just maybe, yep. Sige. So now I have this gradient, no? Siguro para mas madali nating makita yung work around natin na shape with gradient. Let me do this. Yan, kahit liitan ko muna yung shape. Now, sa gradient, pag nag-apply tayo ng gradient color, you can go to gradient panel. Tapos click mo tong nawala tayo. Yan. So, click natin gradient panel. Click mo yung shape. Tapos, from here, you'll notice na merong options. You can go click itong white or blue. You can go to black and white. And kagaya sa Photoshop or other application, meron tinatawag na gradient stops or color stops. At dito sa gradient slider natin, so pwede tayo mag-add ng mga color stops. You can click ng mga stops to add, or you can just click this to delete, or click and drag to delete. You can double click to select any color you want, and from here, let's say gusto mong kuhanin yung color na yun. Tapos eto, double click, punta ka sa swatches, select mo yung color na yan, etc. So, nakapag-create tayo ng gradient, di ba? And then, you can select yung way paano nag-work, paano yung orientation ng gradient. You can adjust yung different parts na to, but make sure the object is selected. Kasi kahit anong define mo dyan, pag di siya selected, hindi mag-a-appear yung gradient color niya. Now, I would like to apply a different color. Maybe medyo sunset style. So, I can go double click this. And I can go to here sa color. Alam nyo nang gamitin, di ba? Yung HSB sakali. Pwede natin click yung HSB. Tapos, pwede ako mag-select na color na gusto ko. Let's say, from here, pwede tayo mag-select ng medyo malapit sa orange. That. Tapos, pwede ako mag-click ulit dito sa color stop ko. Pwede tayo mag-select ng medyo ganitong color. Ng medyo saturated ng konti. Tapos, pwede tayo mag-add ng another stop or double-click to. Maybe I can select this part. Medyo less saturated. Oops. Then I can go double click dito sa part na to. Maybe medyo malapit sa purple and blue. Like that. Okay. Tapos we can adjust this. Drag around o yung mga adjustment points niya dyan. You can adjust. Yep. And then, sir, gusto kong i-adjust yung orientation nung ano ko. Linear pa din siya, like this. Linear ng selected natin. Gusto kong i-adjust. You can go to gradient tool naman. So, since you have this gradient tool now, you can go click this. Tapos as you can see, nandito yung mga points of colors niya. Pwede mong i-adjust like that. There, di ba? Or, you can just use this, again, gradient tool. Tapos, click and drag ka na lang dito. Or baliktad. Click and drag. Yan. So, to further adjust. Oh, you can also drag this. Yan. Basta nakaklik ka pa rin sa gradient tool. You can drag this talaga. Yan. So, to modify our work, I can drag this. Drag that. Yan. Okay. So, when I do that, after applying some adjustments, no, we can now resize our shape. Gusto natin siyang gawin background. So I can go now, reshape it here. Like that. Okay. So from there, meron na tayong background, right? Now, I can also create another layer to add my, maybe to add tayo ng sun. Automatic yung color niya, naka-gradient na din. If you want to leave it something like this, pwede rin. But, maybe I can just recolor it. This is a gradient. Siguro meron tayong na-create na gradient. I would advise na punta tayo sa color and swatches. Tapos, add natin yung color. Yan. So, para nakasave yung gradient natin for future use. Ito namang sun na part na to, I can just actually click this. Tapos, select ako ng color na gusto ko. Maybe pwede namang gradient ang gusto kong gawin. Sige, gradient na lang natin. For this example, I'll be using maybe this color. Like that. Tapos ito, medyo ila-lighter yellow lang natin siya. Yan. Okay, I guess okay na yan. Also class, ito pa, other option. Pwede nyong gawin to. As in, yung gradient color, ayan, na i-add natin like this. Pwede nyong i-click yan, tapos adjust yung opacity niya. So, para medyo transparent yung part ng color. Pero, in this case, hindi ko nagagawin yun. Okay na to. I can go to Swatches. Yan, so para nasa save natin yung color na yon. Now from here, I can go copy and then Control-Shift-V para ma-paste in place ko siya. Tapos, ang gagawin ko, hold ko yung Shift tsaka Alt. Pag Shift kasi, tas ganito, nare-resize natin of course, but gusto ko nare-resize ko siya same location pa din. So, hold ko yung Shift and Alt, tapos adjust. I can also go here sa opacity and then adjust ko siya. Let's say mga ilang percent lang. Maybe 10%. Yan. Like that. I can also go copy and then paste. Tapos, yan. So, ina-adjust lang natin. Copy and paste. Like that. So from there, class, we have just created such output with color and swatches panel, gradient, adjusting opacity, and so on. So for this example, okay. Now to proceed further, class, we can also use this type tool. This is lesson 4 part na actually yung may type tool. So you can go sa module natin. And again, ang focus nung sa lesson 4 is working with type, rasterizing or yung image tracing, yung vectorizing, tsaka etc. artboards na na-discuss na natin. Well, let's proceed sa type tool. Sa type tool class, same lang naman sa Photoshop. May character and paragraph panel din siya. The difference here sa Illustrator, pwede nating i-outline or i-expand yung text. Let me show you how. Muna yung character and paragraph. Sa Illustrator, you can go to Window, tapos class, hindi nyo makikita dito yung character or paragraph, not unlike Photoshop. But, depende siguro sa version kasi medyo lumang version pinakita ng Photoshop before, 2015. You can just go to type and then click character or paragraph. So, you can click character, then mag-a-appear na dito yung panel for type. So, nandito pa rin class yung settings for font, yung diniscuss natin about the leading, tracking before sa Photoshop. You can adjust yung mga font, etc. So, also, I have here, nasa module din to class, pakicheck, edit, tapos meron tayo ditong preferences, tapos type. So, meron tayong preferences sa type na ina-apply ko actually. Meron ako dito, naka-check na fill new type objects with placeholder text. Minsan kailangan ko may placeholder text para pag, ang idea lang doon, mag-add ako ng text, ng text box rather, automatic nagja-generate na siya ng lorem ipsum text. If you're familiar with lorem ipsum, yung pinakita ko before sa Photoshop, those are just placeholder text or dummy text na pwede nyo gamitin lalo na kapag nagma-mockup kayo ng dummy text. So, let me show you how. Create ako ng new layer para sa text ko. Then I can go here sa ating text type tool rather. Please class paki-check yung module, napaka ganda ng examples natin dito. Meron tayong different variations na example, how to use type tool, work around with paragraph. Ayan, paano natin i-warp or i-wrap rather dun sa mga different objects like this. So let's say you're working with magazine or what na nag-a-adjust yung text natin based dun sa mga shapes, so pwede natin gawin yan. Or if you want to add some text dun sa mga path natin like this, or kung naalala nyo pa yung example kanina, yung sa may logo example, kung paano naka-around yung text dun sa circle or dun sa objects na meron kayo, you can apply that. So please follow yung example na nandito for you to experience yung examples paano natin ginawa yun. And then character and paragraph panel, tapos outlining type. But again, sa paggamit ng type tool, I can just use this type tool. Meron lang tayong two ways, no? Basically, na paglagay ng text. So, ang ginawa ko dito, using type tool, tapos nag-click lang ako, may nag-appear agad na lorem ipsum kasi nga, pinakitang preference kanina, naka-check na automatic meron ng placeholder text. But anyway, I can just type here. Let's say, sunset. Sunset view, for example. So, meron akong text na nilagay. When you do that, you can actually hold shift and drag if you want to adjust yung size or adjust mo yung size dito sa part na to. So, in my case, para sa akin, mas usable yung hold mo yung shift and adjust like that. I can choose a font na gusto kong gamitin. Tapos, I can choose yung color. Maybe a white color like that. From here. And there, meron na tayong text, di ba? Now, sir, gusto kong maglagay ng paragraph. Okay, sige, punta ka sa type tool. Adjust natin yung size, maybe 12 or 14 pt. Oops. Sorry, nakaselect pala siya. So, tatanggalin ko yung selection. Nag-click muna ako sa labas using selection tool. Select ako ng font, maybe kahit Arial na lang. And then yung size, maybe 14 pt. Tapos, since again sa preference ko, naka-check yung placeholder text, class ganito kung mag-create ng paragraph. Huwag kayong basta mag-click lang, kagaya sa Photoshop. You can just click and drag here. Like that. So, para automatic meron na siyang text box na i-create. Yan. You can also click and drag this. Ayan, since text area siya. So, after that, you can select a color. Click OK. You can adjust yung size. Ito yung maganda sa paragraph na na-create natin. Or text area. Ang tawag dito text area. Ito, simple text box lang. Or simple text lang. Type lang. Dito, yung text area natin, yan. It contains lines of text na pwede mong i-adjust na automatic nag-adjust din yung texts natin. And there you have it, class. Meron na tayong output like that. You can also adjust yung color na to, of course, sa color na gusto natin. So, yan. Alright, so again, that's just how you add text. Easily. Kung gusto mo mag-add ng text, pag ayaw mag-add ng text dito, okay lang. Gusto mo purely vector graphic lang. Like that. But again, just to show you yung paggamit ng type tool. Next is how to vectorize image. To vectorize image, class, is meron different ways sa pag-vector ng raster image actually. So, to vectorize raster image, meron different ways. Pwedeng gusto mo maglagay ka ng image tapos patungan mo ng mga shapes, or kagaya na pinakita ko ng example kanina, meron ka ditong, let's say, sketch na lang, gusto mo siyang gawin 2D character, pwede. Pero yung iba, nilalagay nila yung mismong image, let's say sa Illustrator, tapos pinapatungan ng shapes. So, halimbawa, create tayo ng new file, create, tapos let's say, dadrag around dito sa Illustrator yung image, pwedeng ganon, and then so on. But in my case, I have just like created a sketch. Gusto kong gawin 2D character. Tapos, yung output natin is yung kanina. Eto. Ayan. So, ang ginawa ko lang dyan is, basically, let's say, kung nagpatong ka man ng image from here, tapos gusto mong bakatin yung image, ilock mo lang yung layer, tapos, ayun, pwede ka nang mag-create ng artwork using pen tool, pwede. I do mostly use pen tool. Pwede tayo mag-select ng color na gusto natin. Tapos katulad nito, yung sa may bandang part ng eyes. Imagine na lang natin may nakapatong na image. So parang ganun. Yan, so ganitong style. Meron different style naman kasi ng pag-create ng vector. Yan. Tapos, let's say, pili ako ng color. Or maybe we can just add a circle from here. Select ako ng color. Sa may bandang pupil part, copy and paste. Like that. And so in that way, as you can see here, and I can just easily create something like that, right? So, pwede natin i-create ito part na tapos yung shape na yon, lalagay ko lang siya, send to back ko lang siya para mas makita niya. Sige, i-lower ko ng konti yung color niya doon. Like that. So just how I did it. Siyempre, kailangan ng sobrang time para magawa natin yung ganitong output as in overall. But you get the idea, class. Yan. So, next is how about rasterizing, vectorizing images with this feature, yung tinatawag na image trace. Si Illustrator, meron siyang feature na image tracing na tinatawag, kung saan yung output natin displays something like, nasa ba example ko dito na tracing? Something like this. So, pwedeng meron kayong photograph, meron kayong pictures na gusto nyo naka-vector sa in this way lang, in a easy way na hindi nyo na binabakat tapos naglalagay pa ng mga kung anong shape. You can just do this easily sa Illustrator. And kagandahan dito, yung raster image nyo na yon, pwede siyang maging vector. Yun nga lang, we can just lower yung ano niya, ang tawag doon, yung parang quality ng mga path niya para hindi ganun katagal yung pag-vector or low fidelity, like that. We can do that, or we can just use minimal colors like this. So let me show you how. So I have maybe examples from here. Wait. Yung example natin 3 and 4, eto, yan. So pwede ko tong i-click and drag na lang dito sa Adobe Illustrator file ko, so I can just resize it para mas lumiit lang yung file. Mas maganda medyo maliit na lang muna yung file, or you can just click file tapos place. Class, pakicheck yung module kasi meron naman tayong ganong method na dinidisplay dito. How can you place and embed images like that? Pag in-check mo yung link or check mo yung link, how it is being displayed sa Illustrator like that. And in our case, for demonstration purposes, I can just place it like this. So, click ko yung file. Click ko yung file kanina, tas place. And then you can just click this image. You can check and uncheck yung link. Pag in-check mo to, much better for me. Click place. Then when you do that, yung mouse pointer natin, para may naka-attach na image doon, you can just click and drag now para dito siya mag-appear. Like that. Now, let's rasterize. I mean, vectorize. Sa Photoshop, nagra-rasterize tayo nun. Sa Illustrator, we are vectorizing photos. Yan. So, pwedeng ganitong gawin. Click mo yung image, tapos class. Pagka-click, actually, may kita nyo dito sa option bar. Meron ditong image trace, pero hindi ko siya ganong nare-recommend pag gusto nyo gamitan ng different options. So, you can go to Window, Image Trace, para mag-appear yung Image Trace panel natin. Again, class, hindi, pag sinabi kong nagbe-vector tayo ng image, it doesn't mean na ito lang yung step. As you can see kanina, gumapit pa ako ng pen tool, binakat pa natin yung different parts. Minsan, it gets more complicated depende sa details na gusto natin ilagay sa vector. But if you just want to like, yung easy way na image tracing lang, let's say yung image, gusto mo na maging vector siya, you can just access this image trace, yung window, image trace, tapos, we can just use any preset na gusto natin. Class, the idea dito ng mga preset is the more high quality or high fidelity ng photo na gusto mong adjustment, mas matagal niya ipaprocess ni Illustrator yon or ng computer mo. Of course, depende sa laki ng image, depende sa strength ng computer na ginagamit mo, gaano siya kalakas pagdating sa specs niya para maayos niya yung fidelity ng photo, gaano kaganda yung gaano karaming colors. It talks about more on colors dito. So, let's say for example, sinelect ko, gusto ko naka-silhouette lang or line art lang. Magiging line art lang to. Etong image na to. Click OK. Tapos, mas mabilis yung processing na gagawin niya. Kasi pag line art, ang gagawin niya parang black and white lang. Lines, di-detect na lang yung mga yan. Pero, it doesn't look good. Maybe we can choose at least sketch art. Like that. So, as you can see, ayan. So, nag-black and white siya. Sir, nag-vector na ba yan? Hindi pa. Okay? Hindi pa siya totally nag-vector unless i-expand natin. So, to fully convert it into paths, kailangan ma-expand siya. Or, you can go to Object and then expand. Okay? Pero para mapakita ko sa inyo yung preset kanina na pinakita ko, I can choose low fidelity photo. Ayan. So, itong low fidelity photo, gamit siya ng maraming colors just to imitate yung original photo. Medyo matagal, as you can see, yung processing. But, you'll notice na ito yung output natin. and almost the same ng photo, pero low fidelity, but it is way more easily understandable na vector yung effect. So na-trace na niya. You can go now, click expand, and in that way, lahat ng to pwede nang i-change yung color. Click ko yung expand, diba? Kung hindi mo pa click yung expand, you can just go click object tapos expand. Pero yung ginawa ko kanina, in-expand ko siya actually. Napag-control Z ako, that's why ito na naman siya. So, ayun, na low fidelity photo, click ko yung expand. Pag gusto nyo maka-assure, you can just click object and then expand. Same lang naman yun. And then when you expand this, so yung part na yan, pwede nang i-change yung color. You can just use your direct selection tool, click that. Tapos, pwede mong i-change yung color na gusto mo on that part. Diba? So, talagang vector path na siya. Now, let me show you another example. From here, ito yung image natin na to. Kiklik ko siya. Tapos, I'll go to image trace. Class, if you're going to select, let's say, any fidelity, any preset from here, you can also click advance. Tapos, adjust nyo yung mga parts na yan. So, the more you adjust yung mga neto, the more na different yung effect na makukuha natin. Minsan, baka mas maraming process gawin ng Illustrator. So, we can just choose, maybe para mas mabilis, we can choose 6 colors or 3 colors, like that maybe. So, let me choose 3 colors. Click OK. And then, nagpa-process na siya for making those pixels into vector. Alright. And then now, I can click expand or object expand. And when I do that, we do now have 100% vector version ng image natin. You can go click this, edit now, edit colors, recolor artwork. Pwede nating apply to yung ginawa natin kanina. You can assign now if you want, or click edit. Para sa akin mas okay yung assign. Like that. Pwede nating adjust yung brightness ng color or darkness. Like that. Then you can click OK. So from there, kung napansin niyo class, no? So it is 100% vector now. Pwede na natin siyang i-resize, anything, change color, recolor artwork, anything you want. And then you can just save this into different file formats or export, kagaya na discussion natin before, and so on. So that's how to vectorize raster images. I hope you've learned something dun sa topic natin na part na yon, and also from these parts, lahat yan from lesson 1 up to lesson 4. So please don't forget to check yung natin module para makakita pa kayo ng other examples and descriptions ng mga na-discuss natin. Okay? So from that class, do you have any questions muna so far?